brutal and calculated. Oregon woman who shot ex-husband in rectum sentenced.
In the early hours of August 2nd, 2021, a 911 call comes in from a local home in North Bend, Oregon. Inside the home on Stanton Avenue, they find Dr. Craig Jackson, a local physician, shot and killed. At first glance, it looks like a home invasion gone wrong, but investigators quickly realized this was anything but random. Authorities say two individuals entered the home around 3 a.m. They confronted him inside, and during the encounter, he was shot and killed. Nothing appears stolen. There was no signs of a typical burglary. This was targeted.
Right off the bat, they found DNA evidence along with a hand-drawn map of the home in her vehicle. That's how she started the first quarter of the investigation. Nothing screams premeditated like a macaroni art map of the property in a murder suspect's car. Then come to find out during the investigation, she forged a $40,000 check in an attempt to purchase property back in her native home of Guatemala. Her intentions were very clear here. A lot of people are going to look back and wonder why this wasn't first degree. An Oregon woman will spend the rest of her life behind bars for the murder of her ex. There seems to be a lot of that going around lately. A Coos County jury convicted 46-year-old Reina Jackson of second-degree murder this week following a 3-week trial for the death of her former husband in 2021. Dr. Craig Jackson served this country, built a career dedicated to caring for people, and was building a new life for himself and his daughter. Damn, said Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield. What happened to him was brutal and calculated. His family deserved justice, and the sentence reflects the gravity of what was done. Dr. Craig Jackson, Reina's ex-husband and a physician at Bay Clinic in Coos Bay, was shot and killed in his home in North Bend on August 2nd, 2021. The couple recently had a contentious divorce, and Dr. Jackson was granted full custody of their daughter.
The trial is underway for Reina Jackson. She's charged with second-degree murder in the killing of her ex-husband, Dr. Craig Jackson, inside his home in August of 2021. But the defense says it's actually his then-wife, Amy Jackson, who's guilty of his murder.
Actually, her defense put up a not so bad argument because they found divorce papers at the crime scene. Then, along with doing some digging, they discovered that the new marriage was on the rocks as well. But here's the issue. In any case, you can't just up and kill your problems, ladies. You can't just throw a lit stick of dynamite at them. You can't just douse them in gasoline and push them into a fireplace. The world doesn't work that way. We have to face problems like adults. Then after the killing, she fled to Guatemala with her daughter before eventually being tracked down and arrested in Atlanta in 2023. That doesn't make her look good either. That didn't help her defense either. Evidence submitted by the state at trial suggested that Reina conspired with two others to carry out the attack. According to a memo from prosecutors, Reina broke into her ex's home with two others in the middle of the night and fought with him in his bedroom. She was already on probation for the same exact thing, breaking in his home and fighting him and assaulting him. She shot him in his rectum. It says she shot him in his rectum and then through his head. His new wife, who had been lying in bed with him when Reina and the others entered, said she had quickly rolled off the bed and hid underneath it. When she believed it was safe, she came and found her husband shot and lying in the hallway. It doesn't specify if he was dead or dying. All it specified was that there was a phone call made at 3:27 a.m. to 911 emergency services. Police later found a hand-drawn map of Dr. Jackson's home and Reina's vehicle and DNA evidence of two unknown men who are believed to accompany her. She was also on probation for previously breaking into his home and assaulting him, as I said.
Prosecutors painted the picture of a happy couple that met at university in Guatemala and married in 2008, but by 2016, they say the marriage deteriorated, leading to divorce. The state claims Reina was angry that $5,000 a month in spousal support was ending.
What especially stood out to me is that she didn't even plan it to look like a robbery or some other special type of home invasion, something that looks completely random. She wanted it to be known exactly what was going on here, and she wanted to be central to whatever happened. Reports say that she initiated the divorce. That's very important to this story because the man's a respected doctor in in his community. How did she expect this to play out? The $5,000 a month in spousal support was about to dry up very soon, as it should. Then comes that very strong possibility of her maybe being on child support. She gambled and she lost. Just before Reina was arrested, she withdrew her daughter from school and fled to Guatemala. Now, her defense was okay. It wasn't perfect, but these type of things really cripples her defense. If she was trying to say that the new wife was the one that killed Craig Jackson, she was later arrested in Atlanta after returning to the U.S. on June 10th, 2023. And I'm positive that had she stayed in Guatemala, they would have sent some unnamed, unknown, unbadged people to drag her ass right back here to American soil. According to court documents obtained by KOIN6 News, Dr. Jackson's family believes Reina forged a check in his name for $40,000, jeez, and used the money to purchase land for herself in Guatemala. The check posted a few days after his death. Now, what normally happens is when you report somebody dead, the credit card agencies and the banks are on the lookout for this type of activity. Reina was sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole for at least 25 years. She has to do at least 25 years solid before they even start talking about parole. Of course, I love to hear your thoughts on this. I love to hear your opinions on this. We know she got the 25 years with no parole, but do you still think she should have got first-degree murder?